Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do some work on the Mini Cooper. We're going to give it an oil change and a new filter, and we're also going to flush out the engine oil. The reason being, we have an oil pump issue, so I'm hoping flushing the oil out, putting fresh in, will fix it. Stay tuned. So the Mini Cooper has thrown up the following codes: 2B7400, oil pump pressure too low, and 2B E800, oil pressure control, oil pressure too low, the torque has been reduced. So I did an oil change, I think it was about 4 or 5 months ago, and the car has been perfectly fine since then. I used this exact oil and this exact filter. This is a MAN filter, one of the best you can get, and the oil is pretty decent. It's Shell, it's 530, very common, it's fully synthetic, so I don't think the oil and the filter itself is at fault. I'm assuming the fuel pump thinks it's blocked, and it was only blocked for a second. Because of that blockage, it restricted the performance on the engine, so it limited the car to 60 miles an hour. The wife got the car home, turned it off, put it back on, and it seemed okay. I've read the codes have not came back. This could be a software glitch, and I'm sure some of you guys out there have probably experienced this. I think it's probably quite common across many cars, not just the Mini Cooper. So I've picked this guy up here. Now I could just give it an oil change and replace the filter. I'm hoping once I remove the filter off the car, I can possibly see something, maybe some debris or something in the actual filter. That will give me peace of mind, believe it or not, because then I know that whatever caused the issue has hopefully been picked up in the filter. So there's a few things that could be causing this. Now, the timing chain has some guides on it. They do deteriorate. This car has 109,000 miles. Although the timing chain is okay, the actual plastic guides themselves may have failed, and they could have deteriorated, and they could be in the bottom of the sump, and they could be actually covering the actual screen at the bottom. Your oil is basically sucked up from the sump, and there's a metal screen that there's a possibility that could be gummed up. Now, if that is gummed up with bits of plastic, then the possibility that the guides have deteriorated and broken down is very possible, which means, well, that's replacing the timing chain. That is a lot of work. This, on the other hand, is much cheaper. This costs £35, this costs 15. I think this was about 10 or 11 pounds, something like that. So say £60, and hopefully this will fix the issue. If the problem comes back, then it's obviously something else. I have my inspection camera. I will be putting that into the bottom of the sump. I'm assuming I'll be able to get this past the bulb and inspect the screen if I can, and just inspect inside of the bottom of the engine, make sure everything looks okay. I don't think it is the plastic from the timing chain, because I would expect a lot of rattle and noise from the engine on a cold start, and it doesn't do that. It seems pretty solid, the engine. I'm hoping it's a bit of gunk inside the engine that possibly just blocked something and it wasn't happy, and that is now passed through or broken down and the car is happy again. So hopefully this will quite simply clean out the block, and we can put some fresh oil in and hopefully call it good. So this video is not about how to do an oil change on a Mini Cooper. I do have a video on my channel already on how to do that. Basically, I have developed an issue with the car. I have a fault code. You guys may also have the fault code. I'm going to flush out the engine, replace the filter and the oil, and see if that works. And if it does, then you guys can try this, and hopefully it'll fix your issue too, because like I say, this is quite a generic code, and this engine is used in many other cars, not just the Mini Cooper. So this might help a few people out. So I'm going to start the engine, warm the engine up. You want it at operating temperature. Do not put this into a cold engine. Once the engine is warmed up, I will turn the engine off, remove the cap, put the full contents of this into the actual engine itself. I will run the engine for 10 minutes, I believe. Yep, 10 minutes. Do not drive the car. You probably could drive it, I guess. It could do some damage. I wouldn't personally recommend doing that, but I guess if it's pretty grim inside your engine block, then possibly. But for me, I'm just going to run the engine for 10 minutes, turn the engine off, leave it 5 or 10 minutes to cool down, and then drop the oil into this pan. I will thoroughly clean it so it is pretty much brand new, and that way once I empty this oil out into a container, I can inspect the bottom and see if there's any bits of debris left over. I'm hoping it's a sludge, so I guess let's find out. So the filter's out. I tried to remove the drain plug, but it all got messed up, so I just had to remove the actual bowl. Oil went everywhere, but at least I got it out. Let's get the O-ring off. So the oil is out, the filter is obviously out, the fresh oil is in, the car is okay. I've reset the oil notification, so that is all done and dusted. So now we need to inspect this oil. So what I'm going to do is drain this oil into an empty container, and I'll do carefully. This has been sitting for about 10-15 minutes, so I'll do very carefully. Hopefully all the oil will come out. Well, I'm hoping the bottom is nice and clear, but let's see if we have any sludge or any debris at the bottom of this bowl. So I hope the camera picks all this up. Wow, that is a lot of debris. So I cleaned this bowl thoroughly, as you guys have seen, and I used the air compressor to blow out under the engine bay. I made sure that there was no dust or sand or any grit that was going to fall into the pan. So it was very clean, and as you guys can see, look at all that debris. I do see one large bit of debris, which is this bit here. I'm not quite sure what that could even be. Don't think it's plastic. Could this be possibly what was causing the issue? if it's focusing. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that is. It's not magnetic. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to make of that. But I don't see anything else. I've had this car pretty much since new, and I've never did anything like this. So there was quite a bit of gunk in there. So I think that is just a result of that. So I'm pretty happy. I think it's did a good job. I don't think I would use this every time, but I think every other oil change I might just use this. I might actually put some in the Evoque. I've had the Evoque now for 3 or 4 years, and I've never used it also. So, and before that was serviced by Land Rover. I don't think Land Rover use anything like this, so I might try it in that and see what results I get. But yeah, pretty happy. This is just small particle stuff. It's not really something to be concerned about. It doesn't look like ground up bits of aluminium. It kind of looks like, kind of, to me, carbon deposits, maybe? Something along them lines. Kind of built up and it's just broken up and came out. So the oil filter looks pretty clean. I don't see anything stuck in there. If this was full of bits of plastic and possibly bits of paper, because I've heard that sometimes when they put the guards in, they don't take the paper off and the paper can gum it up, I would be worried. But I don't see anything other than that tiny little bit, which possibly could have fallen off from the bottom of the engine. I did clean it up the best I could, but that might have just fallen in, or that might have been the culprit all along. That's a very nice, healthy looking filter. That's what you should really get. If you start separating these fins and you get large chunks of aluminium or bits of plastic, then you've got problems. But this is, I'm very happy with this. This is a healthy filter. So from this, I don't think this warrants removing the subframe and the sump and inspecting the bottom end and possibly rebuilding the bottom end. I think this is okay. If I didn't use this engine flush, I would be a little bit more concerned of all these little particles, because he is quite a lot. It's kind of like someone's just sprinkled a bit of sand in there. But with the engine flush going through, it's not going to concern me enough to strip the engine, well, the bottom end of the engine down and inspect it. I did try to get the camera up through the sump plug. It was just too tricky. There must be some sort of screen or something in there, and I just couldn't get it through, and I couldn't really see much, so that was pretty pointless. I will remove the oil cap and have a look and see if that's any cleaner, because that was a bit tarnished. So I'll go have a look and see what it looks like. So I think we could say that's an improvement. It's not much of an improvement, but it's definitely a lot cleaner than it was. So yeah, I'm happy I've used it. I think it's got a lot of gunk out the engine. I'd rather it being here than in the engine itself. And that tapping sound has definitely gone away. It was there before. It wasn't that bad, but it's been there for a few years. I've just kind of ignored it. And yeah, this seems to have cleared that. So it's all good stuff, really. And it never hurts to do an oil change on the engine. So this is a lot cheaper than pulling the subframe and the sump and doing basically a bottom end rebuild. I mean, and the timing chain itself, which I've never done one, but that would take a lot longer than an hour. So I think if this fixes it, I'm very happy. This is, you know, £60 maybe for all this. So for the cost of doing this, an hour of my time, if it resolves the issue, then I'm all happy. So if it does come back, if I do get an oil issue on this car again in the future, I will update the video down below in the comments, and I'll do an update video on this because I will have to address it. It'll be something going wrong, probably the timing chain. Let's not rule out the fact that it could have been a software error, The software might have just had a little hiccup and it's just threw a code when it didn't need to. But there's a bit of gunk in there, and possibly, I don't see anything in there, but this small sandy material, I guess that could possibly bung up the filter, although it doesn't look that bad. But yeah, it's all done. Fresh filter, fresh oil, it's been flushed, so we'll take it from here. If I have any more issues, I will, like I say, update the comments and release a new video on that. But for the time being, guys, I'm happy with this. I think for £10, put it in your oil, it won't do any damage, it can only do good stuff, and we'll leave it there. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.